allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so thanks everybody for coming, and roll call.
Jamie Bauman,
Here.
Frank Myers,
Uh-huh.
Leanne Waldvogel,
Yes.
Donna Roush,
Here.
Martha Patterson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. The next thing is to approve the agenda for this evening.
Are there any improvements to the agenda?
I'm sorry?
Are there any changes to the agenda?
Not that I know of.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
I'll say aye. Aye. Okay, next is the approval of minutes from June 20th, 2016.
I move to approve the minutes on June 20th.
Second. I'll say aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, so Carla, would you like to introduce the evidence for this evening?
I'd like to introduce the St. Genevieve Municipal Code and the design guidelines for the St. Genevieve National Register Historic District.
I'll make a motion to approve the evidence as submitted.
Second.
And I'll say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get started this evening with the old business. It is SGHC 16516, item 3, and it's to receive a certificate of appropriateness for vinyl siding and new vinyl windows to the second floor, remove a handicap ramp, a side addition, and replace the porch. A roof shingle to match the house, remove the one of the windows to the left of the front door, remove the front vestibule, and replace with a porch. Roof shingled again to match the house, and install either wood or vinyl shutters to the house at 187 South Gallery. So, Mr. Schmelsley, is there anything else that we need to know?
You all have the diagram, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. We kind of changed our mind a little bit, had the vertical, because we think it looks a lot better than the horizontal. Otherwise, I did put the size of the porch. And I do have 8 feet. That is originally from the door to what is there now, and I won't proceed any further than that.
Do you know where the border is?
Where what?
Do you know where the line is?
I did not. I did get a picture. There's a curve in that street, and I thought I had it with me. I went to the courthouse, and they made a picture for me, and the line looks like it's about 1.5 feet or so into the street versus the curve of my side there. I don't know if my old picture shows it or not. But I did not have it surveyed.
Now, how can we approve the porch if we don't know where the property is?
The design of the porch is what you're approving.
I know.
The size and everything else will be, and the property lines will all be determined.
Such a discrepancy can't be reconciled. I mean, design includes size.
Well, like he said in the last meeting, he doesn't know what
He
the
doesn't know,
size
okay.
of the meeting,
Well, that-
he doesn't know what the size of the
answer
porch is
question
gonna be until he removes the vestibule and he can see what he has to work with.
So we could approve the overall, like, form of it, but the size would be determined because
He's-
of zoning?
You're not going out any further than what
Into
he
the street,
currently.
no, than what it is
Currently
now.
has now.
Okay.
So the porch would be 5 foot 6 inches deep?
It's, the porch is right, well, on the diagram is 5'6",
Yeah.
but I have a total of 8 feet that is there now that's covered with the steps. So I'm not gonna go any further than that because
Oh, I see.
I'd be out in the street.
Okay. I just had it backwards. Okay. Well, so, should we, through everything that I read, under item 3, should we just go over everything one by one? Like, let's do the vinyl siding, then let's talk about the upstairs window.
Sure.
Okay. So he brought this picture and the samples
Yes.
for the vinyl siding. And I was not here on June 20th, so I missed out on part of that, but we had talked about there was nothing significant on the design of the house, the
There's
structure.
nothing significant on the design of the house, but the house is located
Yes.
between two of the most significant buildings in town.
Yes, so we wanted to look,
It's got to look appropriate
I didn't mean
for
not
the surroundings.
significant, but not,
And at some point, I would suspect with if the landmark, if the park comes in, somebody's gonna wanna walk down that street with the sidewalk.
yeah.
So, can be,
Well, so I think it's important that the house be fixed
Yeah.
up.
it's important that the house be fixed, yeah, and it can be.
Okay, so, he's brought pictures of vertical siding, and, we've,
And there's a brochure in the packet too. of what he decided.
yeah,
You're gonna go with the vertical board and batten rather than the
Yeah.
lap?
Matter of fact, there's a house up here on,
we've got a picture.
oh, you got a picture, and she really likes that, and it looks good with the shutters they have. And by the way, there's 2 houses that has vinyl siding on our street, on South Cavalry. One of them is just in between the rock house that's on the corner, and then Jeanette Woods has one which is less than a block away that is vinyl siding, and that's running the horizontal.
And the,
I think this looks really good. I
the
think it looks nice.
siding that's on there now, is this certainty that you provided all the
It's
documents?
asbestos siding. We're gonna cover it up.
The asbestos siding is what is on the house currently. In the last meeting, Mr. Schmelzer was asked to get information of why the lapboard siding that was requested that he replace it with was not adequate for this project. And so that's what he did, is he brought in documentation.
But that's documentation for a particular one product.
The product that you were proposing that he put on last.
Well, no, he was proposing a horizontal siding.
Yes.
That is a vertical siding.
Okay,
The-
let's back up. So what he brought in was the documentation that you had requested in the last meeting, okay? Which was the information on the problems with that lapboard siding.
It wasn't
the-
lapboard siding. If you'll read the documentation he brought in, it's vertical siding.
Okay, can I finish?
I can't believe the board have not got involved in this concrete siding. There is more complaints and issues. I got a book that, it's on the internet. And I don't, it's Board and Batten, Certainty is the name of the company. And I must have 50 pages of complaints against them that's in the court right now.
Yes, on that.
Why are you so,
On that one product, certainty.
It's two products. There's
And they
another
lost,
company
they
involved.
lost in court and lost millions of bucks in damages because of it. But that's not, I don't believe that's the sidewalk that had been suggested. And of course,
There was
it was
also-
only suggestion, it wasn't an order.
There was
We
also,
suggested that he use something like, there's a cement board out that resembles a great deal to wood siding. It's thick, it's handled like wood siding. It's very durable, it's used extensively in housing. And it's not what is mentioned in that lawsuit.
okay, there's also another one, and honestly, he brought in so many.
Okay.
I can hand them out and everybody can go through them, but I just copied a few of them just to save paper. So if anybody wants to look through any of these, they include the Certainty brand and it's also the Hardy board siding. So they are here if anybody wants to
Okay.
go through those.
And this is a sample of the vertical?
Yeah.
Yes. And that is what's on that house over here on the 4th Street.
A lot together, just like a.
Now, that might not be the color that we're going to use, but that was the only sample the lumberyard has.
So is there any other discussion about these, the vertical siding as opposed to what you guys talked about last time?
I like it, that's all I can say. I think this is such an improvement over what's there now. And I think streetscape is so important. Because this is a little house, it's an ugly little house like Mr. Myers has stated. It's a little house, one that fell through the cracks somewhere on the guidelines. And this is a big improvement. The only problem I have, I think for little houses that people want to update and repair, I'm all for it. I think it's wonderful. It adds to the community. But I don't like the changing of windows.
Okay, well, let's talk about the siding first and then see if does anyone have a motion on the siding?
I'll make a motion to approve the siding.
Can you allow maybe the vertical siding?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, so I'll say aye.
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 No.
So we'll do a roll call.
Okay.
Jamie Bowman,
I approve.
Frank Myers,
No.
Leanne Waldvogel. Leanne,
No.
Donna Roush,
Yes.
and Martha Patterson.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-2.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have the vertical siding, and then we'll move on to the vinyl windows on the second floor. Is it both of those windows on the top dormer?
The upstairs are the wooden windows and downstairs are vinyl windows now, and I'm just trying to match them. I need to take the wooden ones out because they're rotten. The frame and all is deteriorated, same with the bottom ones. I have to remove the bottom ones also and put in a new jamb and trim because the wood is deteriorated.
But you're still going to
But
be using
I'm
the
going to put those
windows?
windows back, and those are vinyl.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to do is just make them match. I think there's only five windows upstairs. Sure. about
On the
that.
back side?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Are there windows on the back side also?
Do what?
Are there windows on the back side also? Like facing
a
the
bathroom
parking
at
lot?
one. There's a bathroom on the backside.
There's 2, 4, 6. Then
So I
there
have
would be
1, 2, 3,
7.
4, 5, probably 6 windows.
Is there one on the back?
Yeah, it's in
So
the
then it'd be
bathroom.
7.
There's a bathroom up there that goes on the backside.
Okay.
So there is one window up there.
So there'd be 7 then upstairs. 2 on each end,
Oh,
2
there
in
are
the front
two on
door.
that,
There's 2 on the east end, 2
2,
on the
4,
west
6,
end.
7, yeah.
So we're talking about replacing 7 wooden windows with 7 vinyl windows.
Yes.
My only objection last time was that the original windows are 3/1, but I can understand he wants to replace them with 1/1 with the vinyl, which would be different from the original design.
And I mean, I guess we do talk about that in the guidelines a lot, that we try to keep the appearance, the streetscape of the house looking as close to the original as we can. And we are changing the direction the siding is going and things like that. Is there any more discussion?
Is there any way you could get a 3/1 vinyl?
Didn't check on it.
I know some windows you can get the little snap-in.
Oh, yeah,
Good
good work.
appearance.
Yeah, I know that's available on this particular company, but I do know that. I know what those are like. I've put several of those in already.
Well, would that be an option to be putting them, make
I
it look 3/1?
I could check on that, yeah. I'm sure that, yeah. If that's what you want, with the 3 panes on top, I'll check into that.
And whenever, if somebody's ready to make a motion, you just have to say that stipulation about the 3/1,
I'll make a motion.
okay?
What you said.
3/1. As the chairman, I can't do that though.
So you're making a motion to
To
approve
approve.
the replacement of
Yes.
7 upstairs windows from the wood 3/1 to a vinyl 3/1.
Yes.
But what about the bottom windows? Should there be 3?
They're not getting replaced.
Well, no, but could we put those grids in there also?
Well,
Were they there
they're not
They
original.
weren't there before.
Just the upstairs
Oh.
ones were.
Oh, okay.
And I think somebody had was it you that had the problem with taking one window
Yeah,
out?
I don't like the
Okay, well,
idea.
let's get that
We'll do
one.
that, she said that we'd do that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so replace the 7 wooden windows upstairs with vinyl windows with the 3/1. Okay, is there a second?
second?
And all who say aye?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Okay,
Motion carries.
motion carries.
Thank you.
The next is to remove the handicapped ramp and the entire side addition and replace with a porch that has a roof with shingles that'll match the house.
I think that'd be a great improvement to the property, and I certainly would recommend that we go along with that.
Okay, so do we have a
I'll make a
second?
motion to approve.
I would second that.
Done.
Is it done or
Done was first.
I've learned to yell.
Okay, all who say aye?
Aye.
Okay, so that brings us, so approval for removing the ramp and the addition the way you want it on the side. The next is remove one of the windows to the left of the front door, like when you're standing in front of the house. Is there a discussion on that?
It will be difficult from a design standpoint to visualize what it is until the porch is formulated. I mean, is it going to be in the porch, out of the porch? Just where is it going to come down? I have no objection in principle to doing it. Sounds
From what I understood from 2 meetings ago, whenever we tabled it, because there was not a representative here, that is a double window, and they're just moving it to a single window. And is it the window closest to the doorway that you're keeping?
Actually, I have not got my kitchen designed yet. The kitchen is only like 16 by 9, and with this double window, I'm wanting to put the stove and refrigerator on that wall, and I don't have enough space for upper cabinets, so I'm taking the double window out and putting one to give me more space for my cabinets. There's an open staircase right behind that, inside of that. So between a dining room and kitchen, everything is staircase. I'm trying to open it up.
So you're going to have one window here.
That's the living room. That will stay.
This will stay.
Right. Now there's a double window on that side, just like that. But the kitchen is only 9 by 15, 9 by 16. By the time you get your cabinet, they had the stove and refrigerator up against the staircase.
There's a picture on the TV.
I'm opening up that staircase to make it open.
Yeah, there's what it looks like right now on the TV.
Yeah.
And that side, those windows don't match the windows to the right of the porch either, so.
Oh,
It's not like you're
they're
gonna-
smaller.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna upset the
I didn't notice that.
symmetry anyway, because they don't match now. So,
And that coal chute there that's underneath the living room window, the double windows on the right, I'm taking that out. It's a coal chute. And then, of course, the other one's going to get covered up with the front porch.
Does it provide ventilation to the basement as well as?
I do have 2 on the side, on the left side of the house. There
Okay.
is 2 small windows over there, which I can't cover those up.
Good enough.
I don't like changing the windows. However, I'm not gonna make an issue out of it, so I'm not gonna put a monkey wrench into it. If that's what everybody decides.
I move to approve the removal of one window and
That's it.
replacement with a single window.
I'll second that.
I'll say aye.
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 Okay, next we have removed the front vestibule from the house and replace it with a porch that has a shingled roof to match. Okay, that's it. Okay, so remove the vestibule and replace it with quite a bit larger porch. It looks like it goes underneath the dormer at the top, so it kind of brings everything forward. Do we have a discussion?
The only discussion I've ever had, the placement of a porch on it, I think is an improvement to the looks of the property. My concern is the amount of space you have in front. If your design dictates it, could it be a side steps instead of the front steps?
If it had to be.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
That's all I'm saying, if it has to be. Because you are constrained by the size of the lot.
So can we word the motion so that,
I'll make a motion that we approve
But
it.
it does change the appearance of the house when you do put them on the side. Because now you got railing. You don't want them to fall off. I think 5 foot 6 inches is enough to have a chair up there or two to sit out on the porch in the evenings. But, and I do have enough room to set the steps down. So,
Steps coming down to where the single window, if it had to be, it might even it out a little bit more,
True.
you know, if it had to be that way.
I was thinking about that too, that if, wants the porch to be a little deeper, to have the side steps would allow that too.
If there isn't enough room for the steps in the front, if the porch were on the side by the kitchen window, it might add a little bit more symmetry to it, if the steps were under the kitchen window, just to give you more room up there. So, we have a motion by Frank. Is there a second?
Second.
All say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we got the porch, so next is either wood or vinyl shutters. Let's do this, come on.
My only objection to the shutters is that they just in appearance, because of the configuration of the windows, they're obviously fake shingles. I mean, they don't cover the window. Anytime you put a shingle on a window, it should be designed so that it's big enough to cover the window when closed. I recognize these are not to be operable, but they certainly look strange if they aren't big enough to cover the windows.
Well, according to what he's got here, it looks like that one would
and 12.
just about cover the window, and these two would cover.
The one window that does look like it would cover, yes.
I like the shutters myself. And that hot sun beats down in that area tremendously. There's no shade. So if you put the wood up, within a few years, they're gonna have to be replaced.
Well,
The shutter sizes come 12 and 16 inches wide. And then there's certain lengths that you can get.
In old houses, you usually have to build them.
They used to build them, is correct.
The
But if you
wooden
want something
shutters.
that's maintenance free, you gotta buy vinyl.
and those fade and warp. I know the ones I got in my house have faded and warped.
Those went, that one house up here on 4th Street, those are vinyl. They look pretty sharp.
Probably
Yeah.
live with wood shutters if they were in proportion size to the window.
I personally think, because it's in the district that it's in, that you should make them wood. I agree the sun's gonna beat them up, because Fields Valley House, same thing. And get them to look like they're actually gonna close and cover that window, because
Yeah.
that will make it fit in better with the landscape, the cultural landscape of the area and the house.
There, I mean, on that block, there's 1, 2, you know, it's not necessarily on that side of the street, but on that block, there are 4 very important buildings. And the wooden windows would just give it the appearance, I think even with the siding and the other changes, that it was a more historic, older building, because that's the way the wood dresses it up. And we're trying to be concerned with the streetscape. And since it's so close to the street, I think that's what we're getting at about the wooden shutters and the size.
That's a good idea.
I think that's what, I mean, because that frickin' book is this thick that we have to read, but streetscape and fitting in with the houses around it, and if everything is changed, it's gonna not fit in with everything else on the block. So I think that's what we're getting at.
That's what we're getting at, or I'm getting at. I mean, I like the way this looks,
I do too.
but you need to kind of have the wooden shutters that look like they're gonna shut, like they're the right size.
So is anybody ready to make a motion?
I make a motion.
We'll make sure you're precise.
What you said. Like, Donna, you make the motion, I forgot what you said.
I make a motion that he goes with wooden shutters that are of the correct size to fit the streetscape and the other houses in the area.
Proportionate to the windows.
Proportionate to the windows, yes.
Are the shutters only going to be on the front?
Well, it's a good question.
If there would, probably. If there would, probably. Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
All who say aye?
Aye.
Okay. Are we done, Mr. Smelsley?
Do I?
Are we finished?
Fine.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, I think if you don't have anything else, that's all that's on our list.
Okay,
Okay, well, thank you.
all righty.
Sorry that took so long.
Can you type me something up on
Yes,
Do you want?
yeah, they won't take that.
yes, I will type something up for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then we're working ahead with the new business, and it's SGHC 16718, item number 1, and it's a certificate of appropriateness for 282 Market Street. And they're not here? Okay, so should we table that to the next meeting?
It's up to you guys. Or you can make a decision on it.
How about we go to item 2, so that if you would like to leave, you could, and then we'll come back to item 1. Is that all right with the commission? Okay, so let's just push item 1 back until we do this one. It's SGHC 16718, item number 2, certificate of appropriateness for 302 Market Street. And it seems pretty straightforward, and it's to tuck point the building with a type S mortar at 302 Market. And I will tell you that I've been through this, and that's the right mortar. Doesn't expand, it's not going to pop off the brick. So I had to research this a lot.
It has to be a soft, low one.
Low and Portland cement.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and there
there's
are
only,
some spots that definitely need it. I've noticed.
well, especially, is it the sandstone brick?
Yeah, I'm not sure what type of brick that is on there.
Okay, well, I mean, whenever I was researching, I looked at several old buildings in town, and the old brick is one in particular where if they used a hard mortar, it doesn't expand and contract enough, and it just pushes the brick face right off.
And then they melt.
Yeah, so this is the one, there's 2 kinds, I think the other one is E or G, I don't know. But there's only 2 kinds that are right, and this is one of them, so.
Let me ask you a question. Would you use that same kind of type S mortar on a stone foundation? Or would you use a different kind?
I believe so, because
With old masonry, you basically use a soft, low Portland cement mortar. It has a different appearance. It's softer. You'll go back quicker with stone. But in brick, it's poison to use a hard mortar because it will just deface the brick.
Okay. For my own information.
There are 2 conditions
I'm
that
learning.
the staff here has laid out for us, and they're both what the building needs to be tuck pointed. There's no question about that. I think we're all in favor of that. Replaced with a similar shape, size, And the other one is, don't use mechanical type powered machines to remove the old mortar. It goes out by hand because there's so much damage done with the mechanical ones. That old soft brick, you just,
Basically, like if they use the round saws and they're just going along and they're like, they're gonna cut right through the brick because the bricks are so
You know, the
soft.
brick will just
They're like a loaf
dissolve.
of bread, crusty on the outside.
Soft inside.
Sorry, I got that.
So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the repointing of the building with the conditions laid out by the professional staff here.
I second it.
All who say aye? Okay, you're good, sir. Thank you.
I will, yeah.
Okay, so I guess, what we need to do next is, the owner, our representative for 282 Market Street is not here, so we're going back to item 1 again. And they would like to replace 6 casement windows with 6 vinyl sliding windows on the side and rear of the building.
And he wasn't going to be able to be here tonight, but he wanted to bring it to the commission, but if this is not something that, the commission would approve, he is open to another option.
That is one of the buildings that is on the register, right, as a contributing structure.
It is a contributing structure, yes it is.
And the windows that he's proposing are both by material and by shape and size are not
Yeah, and
in
what my,
conformity with the original. Now, I don't know what our written instructions, I know what our written instructions are from the board, but I don't know what their intent is. I don't think we have any basis to approve it in the written instructions we have from the Board of Aldermen.
I agree with you. I feel like that we deal with streetscape, and as soon as you head down that one-way street, you see that entire building, except for the very back. And, I don't know how we can, because its streetscape is 3 sides.
And
Yeah.
the fact that it's contributing is,
Yeah, that's the thing, it's a contributing building.
Yeah. I mean, and that's in opposition to the first item, or the item 3, the old business that we did tonight. I mean, that,
Now, that one, the importance there is not that it's contributing.
it's
stuck
that it's
between
cleaned
two.
up because of where it is. But this one is an actual older home on the one-way street that leads to everything historic in our town. So, is there anybody willing to make a motion?
I make a motion that we deny, because it is a contributing structure, and like you just discussed, we see 3 sides of it, and it needs to look for the streetscape.
I mean, there
For the
have been
district.
changes to it already, but that's not our thing. So is there a second?
Second.
All who say aye?
Aye.
Okay, so I think we're through the old and the new business. Next, we need to review some of the administrative approvals.
Okay, at 694 Market Street, on her garage, I had administratively approved she currently has asphalt siding, asphalt shingle on the garage, and she wanted to go back with a lapboard siding. Yeah, well, it is a wood siding, it's a composite siding, but it is a lapboard siding, and it's on the garage in the rear of the property.
I think I saw it on the mark, and that'll be a major improvement.
It will be. And the other thing was her gutters, and she is planning to go back with round gutters, which is what is on the garage now. Those were some things that she needed to take care of right away, because when she had purchased the property, it was a question with her insurance company, so she needed to move forward on this. And so we had discussions on what type of materials she could go with, that she could move with faster. And so we were able to go back to a more original appearance on the property.
Okay.
And then the second one was 363 St. Mary's Road. Miss Marlar came in and they are replacing just the deck boards, the rotten deck boards on the front porch, and then one of the pillar post that holds the pillar up.
Oh, is that the house right next to the green tree?
It's,
Or is it that little painted job?
It's the little house that's right.
Kind of a mustard color, is it that one? Can you know?
I mean, are they replacing it with wood?
They're replacing it with wood.
As long as the porch floor, I mean, you have to go by the dimensions that are there. But on the post.
And they're not replacing the post, they're replacing the pillar under the post. The wooden pillar at the base of it is what's rotten. And so that's what they're replacing.
They're replacing it what, with red cedar or?
With wood. She said it would probably be treated and it'd be painted. So,
Okay. Anything else?
no, that was all that I had.
Yeah, that's a cute little house. And the porch is part of what makes it nice.
Okay. So do we have anything from the public?
Oh.
Nada? Yes?
Before you adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry, Martin, did you want to say anything?
No, not the public.
Yes, you are.
Don't qualify. I gave up my citizenship.
Oh, did you? Okay. I took the liberty of taking some photographs of that house that was demolished on the Moses Austin property. And there was a good deal of, it was before you ladies were involved here, there was a good deal of consternation about preserving that or whether it could have been preserved. And I've got some photos here I'll pass around, and unfortunately, well, it's a double-edged sword. Unfortunately, there is no way that could have been saved.
That is pure baloney.
Mr. Myers, let me speak. Let me speak, and then you can say your piece. I walked around that house and I took pictures of all four corners. Every sill in that house was basically powder. And the siding falling off the outside. There's one photograph in particular, this one, that shows the uprights. The wall studs are just completely gone. You're looking at drywall on the inside. When they demolished it, I was there when they did it, and it took him about 12 minutes, and it was on the ground. That's not cleanup time, but he took one swipe, one wall was gone, another one. The only thing he wrestled with was the addition on the back, which was maybe 50 years newer than the rest of it. But anyway, I wanted to show you that so that you don't feel like we lost something that could have been saved. It could have been saved a long time ago.
It could have been saved right now, but
how would you save that?
Talking about photographs.
Avatron.
What is Avatron? Enlighten me.
Historic preservationists use it, and they inject it into the wood, and it preserves the wood.
That and the
But it's very
fact,
expensive.
the one photograph that you should look at very clearly is the one on the front page of the paper. After that mechanism, after that big machine had ripped down half of the building, the other half is standing there as straight and square as could be. Which
Not
indicates
square.
that there's
Not
still-
square. There wasn't a square panel on that house. The walls were bulged all the way
I looked
around.
at the house, I don't exaggerate the condition, it's an old house.
An old, rotten
house. And right now, on the other end of the street, if you go into a very successful little sandwich shop, Stella and Me,
Okay.
when that building came up for sale many years ago, I owned the bricks across the street at that
Okay.
time. That building was 10 times worse than the building down here.
Well-
And yet, they went in at a very low cost, They hired my son basically to tear the old stuff off, and then they put some new stuff on.
When you say old stuff, what old stuff?
The wood, it's a wood structure.
I'm aware of that. Siding, or are you talking about framing?
Siding, trim, whatever.
Well-
It's still a junk building, but it's successful.
Well, that's not a nice thing to say. I don't think any of these properties are junk.
Well, yes,
Not even
They
the
are.
one that you said.
No, I'm not saying it's junk. What I'm saying is, that was really the only feasible way to deal with that problem. It's a miracle somebody didn't get hurt in there, as bad as that was.
I think that's an extreme exaggeration.
Well, I
It
think
could have
you're
been-
exaggerating.
No, it could have been restored. Granted, it would have been expensive. But we have what we hope is going to be national parks coming in on that end of the town. They're going to need structures,
Okay.
and the structures will be gone.
Right.
And what will we get out of that? We tore down a building that could have been restored, and in its place, we have an empty lot that will probably be used once a year for a beer garden or type arrangement. And that will not improve the profitability or the acceptability of this city to the rest of the world. And that's what we're trying to do with a park.
Okay. Well, you have your opinion, and you are certainly entitled to it,
Thank you.
okay? Just as I have mine.
Uh-huh.
And these are what you call facts. Facts are different than opinion.
No,
Because
they're
they're
not.
called photographs.
Photographs. Photographs don't lie.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know how. I'm gonna tell you something. I had to get a guy to help me to get it from here
I know.
to the machine.
Look at
So,
Pokey Men go now.
oh, I don't wanna talk about
You can't believe that, those
I don't
Pokey
even,
Men.
I don't even,
You know what, I make a motion we adjourn.
okay.
Is there a second? I'll say aye.
Yes.
I gotta go get the
I
chicken.
live in
Aye.
Ash-
You gonna go get your chicken?